Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Richard Miles. This is Richard Miles TED Talk Part 2. So, on TikTok, I've met some very interesting people that I consider as friends, part of my extended family. So, you know who you are, Amanda, Sicilian brother, okay? All you guys, I love you. Thank you so much. I feel like we are a family. So, I've had a lot of discussions about, some people that are considered white in this country, but to me it's questionable, okay? When I say questionable is you have to keep in mind that people don't just stay in their backyards. I mean, people do cross borders, right? So when people hear, oh, you're from Italy, Spain, Portugal, Greece, oh, they're 100%. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, unless you conducted an ancestry DNA test with all the inhabitants from those countries, you nor I can quantify that. Now, we could say some are 100%, others are mixed, right? Oh, that's a fair statement. See, I'm being fair. So, growing up, even though I am part of Italian or part Italian, I'm 12%. I have my ancestry DNA test, and I'm like, 28% Serbian. Most of my European heritage is Serbian, even though my grandmother was German, but my mother passed a lot of her Serbian genes to me. And I have a little bit Italian / Greece or Greek because they kind of pair those two countries together, just like Italy and Spain. They pair those two similar because they're kind of like contiguous to each other. But anyways, growing up, I just remember because I lived, I'm from Niagara Falls, New York, and the city that I lived in had a lot of Italians, right? And some of them I was really cool with, others not so much. But I just remember, having discussions with some of my former classmates, and they would say stuff like, your hair is similar to mine. This is what growing up, I would hear a lot of people asking me if I was like part Italian because of my hair texture and my facial features. And I'm like, no, because at the time I didn't know I was 12%. I just would say, black and Serbian or German because I didn't know my African ancestry. Now I know I'm Ghanaian, Nigerian, Congolese, Senegalese, etc. So I know my African side because I had my ancestry DNA results. And I know my European now, which is Serbian, Italian, Greek, a little bit of Scandinavian, and English, very little. But I would always get accused, or not accused, but people would assume, their supposition was, are you Italian or part Italian? I'm like, no, not to my knowledge. Now I know I am. But I remember the comparisons with my hair. Like, you have Italian hair. I'm like, well, you pick up different traits from your parents, which I've been trying to say for ages, right? My father, he lives with me, has 4C hair, which is typical African sub-Saharan hair. My mother was mainly, Mediterranean. Well, Serbians, I still kind of consider them Mediterranean because they're similar to Italians. They're kind of close to one another. But anyways, they're Balkan people. But my point is that my brother too, is more like my mom's side. So growing up, I would see Italians and I'm like, for some reason, I don't know what it was. I just never really saw them as white. I don't know what it is. They just don't, to me, look like Germans or Nordic Europeans. I don't know. I've never considered Italians white. But I know they are loosely called white. But to me, white is like German, Irish, Dutch, Scottish, Welsh, those types of people. But I'll give you an example. This is what I saw growing up. See this gentleman here? He's an actor. John Turturro. Now, to me, I don't see a white man. I see he's white and something else. Now, he has a Roman nose, so I'm looking at all of his features. He has very dark eyes, but his hair and just his general profile, no, he looks mixed race to me. He can pass for biracial, or if he's not biracial, I'm talking about black and white, that maybe one parent is biracial and one parent is white. But look at the hair. My hair is more Caucasian than his. See that? There looks a little more on the biracial side, but this here looks to me more African. Like maybe not 4C, but maybe 4B, or maybe if there's a between 4A and 4B, I would say that's the hair that I see there. Here, maybe 4A. Now this is Logic. I love doing his videos. See, Logic? His father is mixed race like me. I don't think he's biracial, but he might be a multi-generational mix, but the father is not 100% African. He's definitely mixed, race. Because remember, genes don't expire. If it happened 400 or 500 years ago, it just gets maintained, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the generations. It doesn't expire like food. But that's Logic. That looks like a white man to me. I don't even see a hint of African anywhere. Even though looks can be deceiving, but obviously phenotypically he takes after his white heritage on his mom and his dad, because his dad passed white to him as well. And this is the Italian actor. Now, you tell me, which one's white? He looks white, he does not. And yet, he's Italian. Now, he may be Sicilian, because Sicilians are known to have other ancestry admixture because of invasions. But as far as I know, he would always identify as Italian. So whether it's Italian or Sicilian, I see mixed race. Now, he was on that show, American Genealogy, and I have to watch it again, but correct me if I'm wrong. If you find out the results, let me know. I didn't see his admixture test. They just talk about his ancestors, his progenitors, wonderful. But I want to see the admixture. His brother was recently on a show. His brother, I think his name is Nick. That's John. He has a brother, Nick Turturro. They both look mixed race to me. His brother was on a show and he said, I'm Italian, but I have some other things mixed in. But he didn't say what it was, which, no offense, Nick, if you're watching, I like you. I still think you're an amazing actor. But that was, I didn't think that was delivered correctly. I wanted you to say what it was, but you wouldn't. So I just wonder, I mean, again, I want to be positive. I don't want to be negative. But there's just something in me that questions, are you ashamed to say what it was? Because why didn't you just say it? Listen, I'm Italian, but I'm also Middle Eastern or North African or Sub-Saharan. Just tell us. Because, I mean, I'm sorry, I have very good working optics here. My optics are very, very good and very discernible. I can see you have mixed race. And he even said on the interview, listen to this, Nick, which is the brother of John that I just showed you, he even said his hair is not white or black, it's in between. So it's like biracial hair. Yes, and I would agree with him. I would say still a little bit more on a Caucasian side like mine. Both of our hair is more on the Mediterranean side, whereas his brother here, not so much. I would say he has more African hair, whereas his brother Nick has more on the European side, but a little touch of African. But yeah, he said it. He's like, my hair's not black or white. It's in between somewhere. So I understand what he's saying. But yeah, so I wanted to do this video because people were asking me. No, that's, I mean, now remember, Italians, just like Spaniards, Portuguese, Romanian, and French, are Latin people. They are the original Latin people. A lot of people don't know this. I don't know why. I think it's a shame, though, actually, that not all, but many of our Italian brothers and sisters work really hard to try to fit into white society, like Anglo society, and just abandon their Latin roots. Like, I don't know if they're ashamed of it, but Italians are the first ethnic group to descend from Latin. Then all the other groups came, their cousins, I call it, the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the French, the Romanians. They came after, but the Italians are the original Latin people. And if you listen to their language, it's obviously Latin, it's not Nordic. I don't know why some people don't know that. Like, when you have vowels at the end of your name, that's Latin. That comes from Latin. It's a cousin to Latin. But so are the Spaniards, and the Portuguese, and the French, and Romanians. Romanian is also a Latin culture. A lot of people don't know about that. But here you go. I did the video. So they're loosely called white, but I don't see them as white like Germans. No, they're more to me like Middle Eastern type white, because Middle Eastern is still considered Caucasian. I see more Italians like what I just showed you as Middle Eastern. Sorry, but that's just how I see it.